Hi, boys and girls. This is your online instruction, your reading instruction for Monday, October 26th. We are talking this week about buildings that we might see. In fact, our question that we're talking about, we have two questions here actually. Our question is, what buildings do we see? And what are they made of? I want you to take some time this week to look around your neighborhood or in your community and notice the buildings that are there and what they're made of. Depending on where we live in the world, we're going to find buildings that are made out of a lot of different things. And so kind of be thinking about that. That's something we don't really think about. I know my home is made of bricks at home. It's bricks, but maybe your home is made of wood or stucco. It might have stucco on the outside. So talk to your parents a little bit about that. That's something that we'll be talking about this week. We also have the target of I can read and spell words with short U. We've been reviewing our vowel sounds, A, E, I, O, and U. Last week we had which was a short E. This week we have U, which is okay? We need to make sure that we know when U is saying its short name, it's our jaw drops down, we say okay? Sometimes we get that mixed up with A. When we see A in a sentence like this is a cat, we say that word as okay? It makes the U sound. It's called actually a schwa sound. But that we only say on this one when it's using this word A alone. So we're not going to be focusing on that. Remember, normally A says like in cat. So we're going to be focusing this week on short U. Here are our spelling words, and just a reminder, this is a very important page. You need to pay close attention, especially to this, because this is your list of your spelling words for this week. And this wonder sheet has short U words in it. We should read this every single day. Read through this, our high frequency words and our sentences working toward fluency. But our spelling words for this week are run. Do you hear the fun, nut, cut. These two rhyme. Run, fun, nut, cut. Bug, rug. Those two rhyme. Rhyming words have ending sounds together. These are review words from last week, men and head. And two of our high frequency words, could and one. And we'll talk about those right now if that's okay. So we'll talk about our high frequency words to begin with. Let's look at those words that we have a hard time sounding out that we need to know just by looking at them. This word is could, okay? This house was built of logs, or it could be made from some other material. Could, okay? Could. Please just memorize it. It's hard to sound out. We can't sound it out. Could. One. This doesn't mean I won the game. This is the number one. One. This is a hut. There is one room in this hut. There is one hut and one room in the hut. Only one. This is the word live or live, depending on how it's used in a sentence. So we can say it both ways, live or live. There are many places to live in the city. What kind of buildings do you see here? I see some skyscrapers. They're called skyscrapers because they're so very tall. People think they scrape the sky. I see other buildings down here. Okay, live. This is the word then. Last week we had there, and look how this starts, just like the other one, T-H-E. Then. Remember, we have TH all over our room. The, then, okay? First the children open the door, then they go out. It would be really hard to go out and then open the door. You probably should open the door first and then go out, right? Okay. Three, there's a TH. Three. Three, this is the number three. Okay, there are three people in this tent. Three. Okay, we have two number words here today. We need to know each of them. 1, 3. We need to know those for the rest of our lives. 1 and 3. Okay. We also have vocabulary words this week that talk about buildings, and we are going to be talking a lot about the Three Little Pigs this week. So we're going to be reading stories that are similar to the Three Little Pigs, but some of these words have to do with that. So let's look at our first one. No, this word is furious. Furious means very, very angry. okay? So this boy is furious. I wonder why he's furious. Can you think of a reason why he would be furious or very angry? Maybe you have been furious before. Materials. Materials are things that we use to make something. So the girl in this picture is using different materials to build a birdhouse. I can see glue, paint. She probably has a little hammer or screwdriver. Materials. Refused. If somebody refuses to do something, they firmly say they will not do it. I refuse to do that. So the dog in this picture does not like the rain. He refused to go out. He does not want to get wet. He refused. Shelter. A shelter is a place that protects you and keeps you safe. In this picture, this building is a type of shelter. It can keep people sheltered from the rain, especially if they're further back in. So shelter. And there are lots of different types of shelter. You could think about that. Buildings. This word is collapsed. Collapsed. If something collapsed, it fell down. Okay? So this tent collapsed or fell on the boy. I wonder what made it collapse. It collapsed down. Okay? We'll talk about those all week. Those are really, really good vocabulary words. Let's go ahead and read our story for this week. This is called, remember, we're talking this week about what buildings we know of and what are they made out of. So this is how 3 cubs built a hut. Wonder if this is going to be a little bit like a story. I know. Cubs in a hut. Let's find out. Let's make a hut, said Gus. There's that word said. We really need to know that word. Let's make a hut, said Gus. We could use mud, said Russ. It will be fun. I want to talk to you about these little punctuation marks right here. Can you see this? These are quotation marks. Okay, when I see those, that tells me that somebody is speaking. So Gus said something. This is what he said. Let's make a hut. Then Russ said something. We could use the mud. Do you see the quotation marks? Then Bud spoke. It will be fun. Quotation marks. Okay? Pay attention to those, will you, as you're reading. The cubs had a plan. Bud got a big stack of sticks. Russ and Gus got mud and grass. And it looks like they have a plan. I'm noticing some short U words here. The cubs did a very good job. Let's move in, yelled Russ. Yes, yes, yelled Bud and Gus. The cubs set up rugs and beds. They filled up the hut with lots of stuff. I'm thinking, we know that reading is thinking. I'm thinking a little bit like the 3 Little Pigs story. Not totally, but kind of like it, where they're building something. Then one night, 3 cubs got up. Drip, drip, drip. My bed is wet, yelled Bud. Oh no. My head, there's that word head, is wet, yelled Gus. It is not fun to live in a wet hut, yelled Russ. I'm thinking, I wonder what they're going to do. We must fix it, said Bud. It will not drip on us, said Gus. We will not get wet, said Russ. I'm noticing the quotation marks. It is good to live in a dry hut. 3 cubs are as snug as bugs in a rug. I love those short U's. Okay? This is a great, fun story. I want you to go on the website down below here. I want you to read through it 2 times. Okay? Working toward fluency. We will read this again on Wednesday, but that will be an important thing for you to be able to do and to be able to read that. Pay attention to the short U words. Pay really good attention to those quotation marks that we talked about, okay? All right, let's go on with what we're doing. Today, you are going to be doing this paper with our high frequency words that we just talked about. So you've got this in your packet. These are the words that we're going to use. 3, could, live, 1, and then. You are going to put them in the sentences so that the sentences make sense. When we're reading, our brain is working to make sense. So you need to make sure that the correct word goes in here to make sense. I blank in the city. I 3 in the city. I could in the city. I live in the city. I 1 in the city. I then in the city. You know how to do that, okay? On the back of this page, in your neatest handwriting, please don't forget to put your name on this, okay? You're going to read the words here, Listen for the short U sound, Then write the word that names each picture. Cut, bug, hut, duck, and pup. You're going to write these in. Then down below, you're going to write your own sentence using a word from the box. So you can use one of these words here from the box. Now, when I write a sentence, I'm always going to use cops. I dropped something. Okay. I'm going to use cops, and I want you to remember about cops. We have capitals. We have organization. It makes sense. Remember, our brain is always working to make sense. Punctuation, and then spaces between words. So you need to write a sentence using one of those words from the box. You can do that. We're getting so good at that. We're going to be doing a lot more of that. So work really hard and do your very best. Okay? All right. That is our reading instruction for today. You are going to make sure that you are reading today something besides what I've given you. I want you to make sure you're reading your library book or a book from Epic. Make sure that maybe even if you're watching a movie, you can have your mom or dad put on closed captions. It's a good way to read and not even realize you're reading. We find reading in everything we do. So I hope that you are working hard on that reading muscle. I'm really proud of you, and I will see you in math.